Welcome to the Making Love podcast with Tish and Pastor Roy. This is where love gets real, faith leads the way, and marriage becomes something you actually enjoy. We're talking laughter, connection, and the kind of conversations that challenge what you thought you knew while giving you practical, faith-filled ways to make something that lasts. Whether you're married, dating, or just curious, this is your time to grow together, have fun, and create a relationship rooted in friendship, purpose, and connection. Because when love is made, it doesn't just last, it gets better every day. Well, we're so glad that you're back for the Making Love podcast. I'm here with my Superman. I have to tell you guys a story about that name one day. And today we're talking about investing in your marriage. So many of you all may know me. Some of you all definitely don't. So I am a sales coach by trade, and people spend a lot of money investing in business coaches and sales coaches and all the various things, but how much do we actually invest in our marriage? So today we want to talk a little bit about how you're really spending time investing in your most important partnership, right? Yeah. That you have. So welcome to you. Welcome to us. So you want to greet the people, babe?
Hi.
What do you feel has been an investment that has really paid off in our relationship?
Well, I think the impetus for the best investment was learning something critical.
What?
You learn in marriage, you buy little gifts or whatever. And eventually we got to a place where we realized buying these little gifts isn't where it's at for us.
Yeah.
And then, so we started doing things. And especially we started doing things that neither one of us has done before.
Right.
And it's those shared experiences that I feel like are one of the best investments. Now, there's obviously the spiritual investments, praying for one another, praying with each other.
Yeah.
But going beyond investing time is critical to any marriage.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I feel like we learn to invest.
Yeah.
Is time.
And interestingly, I was going to say, I can't remember, most of the gifts that we've given to each other over the years, but that's not true. I do have a very special gift that I absolutely remember. It's one of my favorite pieces of jewelry that you gave me that was basically my logo, and you had it made when you were overseas. And that was really, really special. But beyond that, not that the gifts weren't thoughtful or meaningful or special or anything like that, but I think that the places that we've gone together, the things that we've done, even just like going to, a new restaurant and trying something we've never done before has been really, really...
Tartar sauce.
Yeah, right?
So I thought I hated tartar sauce.
I know, right?
And we went to this brand new restaurant in the West Valley.
Yeah.
And for however you did it, you got me to finally, I think you just kept talking about how amazing the tartar sauce was.
It was so good, yeah.
And I was like, fine, I'll try it. And I'm just mad now because here it is all these years. I thought I hated tartar sauce, and apparently I didn't. I just didn't know any better.
For sure. Absolutely.
That tartar sauce was amazing. I was asked the waitress, can I get something to drink? Like, this is great.
Can you think of, and this is a little bit of a quiz. Let's see if you'll know the answer to this. When we went to Cancun, there was a restaurant that neither of us had been to before. And while we were there, we ate there every single day we were there. You remember which one it was?
Where we ate every day in Cancun?
We ate every single day. Not the last time, the very first time we went.
Trying to think. I remember we went to the Bubba Gump.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
It was Bubba. We went to Bubba Gump's every single day. But it was like, oh my God, let's try this. Have you had this before? And I think sometimes in marriage, we make assumptions that this is my husband who does this, right? He always fill in the blank or whatever. And instead of seeing our spouse as the person who always does this, what about discovering what else?
Yeah.
What else could you do?
But I discovered things too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
While we're, intentional and investing in time and in shared experiences, I've learned about myself.
Ooh, say more about that.
Because I didn't think I was the kind of person who wanted to try certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But because we knew we had to have these experiences together, I said, well, let me just try.
Yeah.
I remember trying creme brulee for the first time.
Ooh.
Let me say, when I thought I wasn't going to like it, I said, well, let me try it. We're here. She loves it. Let me give it a shot. I tried it. I was right. I didn't like it.
So, y'all, it was the funniest thing ever. He tasted it. He immediately realized he didn't like it. He took the lemon wedge and he literally cleaned his mouth off. He had the napkin. He was wiping his tongue off. It was the funniest thing to me ever.
I wanted that taste out of me so fast and so bad.
It was definitely confirmed that you do not like creme brulee. And that's okay.
But we got a story out of it.
Definitely, absolutely gave it a try. I think about some of the other ways that, we've invested. And I remember, I don't know, I'll see how much of this you remember, but when we were literally like broke, we couldn't afford to do much, but we still wanted to create experiences and invest in our relationship. And that's a really important point, I think, because sometimes people will say, well, we're at this stage and we really can't afford this or we can't do that. You know what? No excuses, because there was a point where we could not afford much at all, but we still made a way, right? Whether it was going for a walk by ourselves without the kids, or we actually I had someone, now this was a little bit of an investment. I probably spent money I had no business spending to make this happen. But remember, and it was also an opportunity for me to experience something new when I had the lady come in and cook for us. And she, made all these great dishes, but she also made us steak. And I grew up eating steak well done. Don't judge. Look, this is just what my mom that's what my mom taught me. I didn't know any better. And this woman,
steak should never be eaten well done.
She refused to serve me well done steak.
Yeah.
And it was like, look, you're going to try this medium or I'm not cooking it. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. Changed my entire life. Absolutely changed my life. And I will never eat anything above maybe medium well if it's like a really, really good cut, but never, ever, ever again well done. Never again. But that was something that we created in our home because, at that time, I'm trying to remember, was Charles really young? I don't remember why we did it at the house, but we did it at the house because we couldn't go out for some reason. Yeah. And mind you, this was not like a chefy experience as far as cost. It was someone that I maybe did a trade with or something, but nevertheless, it was something that we did on our own. But back to just kind of like dating, how often, and we can talk about us, but how often do you think people need to make sure that they spend time, they invest time dating their spouse after the marriage?
Well, it's easy to say once a week, twice a week, whatever. But honestly, having lived life, sometimes
it's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
And you put pressure on it, trying to do it every week.
Right. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And so really, I would just say as often as you can.
Yeah.
Go out on a date.
But I do think there needs to be some intentionality behind it. Because I think people get in that rut and it's like it's 3 months, it's 5 months, 6 months, and they haven't done anything.
It should never be 3 months.
Yeah.
Since you've had your last date. Yeah.
I mean, and sometimes, we've tried to do things that are a little unconventional. I think my favorite date right now, well, what was your favorite? What has been your favorite date? Can you think of one?
In what, the whole 30 years?
Well, at least back as far as you can remember.
That's a lot of dates to sit here and try to. We went the whole time thinking about dates.
But what comes to mind? What sticks out for you the most?
Honestly, I loved the day dates.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of my favorite ones was going to was it Saguaro Lake?
Yeah.
and doing the boat tour,
yeah.
and then eating at the restaurant after we got off the boat.
Yeah.
I thought that was top notch because it was just
Yeah.
so fun to see all the mountains and the water and the cactus. And
that's so great. That was one of mine. So something that we've done over the years is we've decided to take turns. So every Valentine's Day and every anniversary, we switch. So you plan a Valentine's and I plan a Valentine's, and vice versa. And so that was one I did. I'm so excited that you really felt that way, because mine was one that you did.
Yeah.
And of course, I had never been on a train in my whole life until 2-3 years ago now?
Yeah, I think 2 or 3. And
he took me on a train ride, and it was so much fun, and it was so beautiful. Yeah. I loved it. Absolutely loved that so much.
And honestly, it was pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
And it was gorgeous.
Right.
So we had a really, really good time. That was another one of my top tier date things that we've done.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we could talk about the trips. Now, this wasn't a day date. This was a cruise, but I love cruising with you, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But when we went on the cruise where we were able to go to the private beach and have someone cook for us the whole day. Now
that's top tier dating.
That was
right
absolutely
there.
top tier. Now that's something we've done more recently, obviously, not back in the day when it was like we really couldn't put an investment in that sort. But what about just like activities that people can invest in? Like, we've invested in our marriage through our ministry, obviously, through Bishop has done what we call marriage mechanics over the years. And we've done, gone to a lot of those seminars. I think we've gone to every one. We've actually taught a lot of them as well. Yeah. Books that we've read together, activities. What types of things do you think are also important for couples to do that may not require them to leave the house, or they really are designed to be specifically investments in the marriage?
Well, as with anything, when you want it to be successful, you have to study, you have to read so that you know how to do it better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when we've read books on marriage and then sat and tried to figure out how we're going to implement these things, and really work through how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
I think those are the moments that really, really impact your marriage, because not only did you both read the same book, but then you talked about it.
Yeah.
And you got to hear the other person's heart concerning what they learned or what you've learned. And it also gives a bit of a reflection, because you can see, how have I been doing compared to what we're learning right now?
Yeah.
Some things you may find you have innately been doing, and so you're good. Other things you may find, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right.
I've been falling down completely when it comes to that.
For sure.
And so those things are great, because you're like, if you have an investment portfolio, you don't want to just trust your broker. You want to do a little research and know a little bit about what's happening, so that you're better at it. The same thing is true with your marriage.
Yeah.
That's an investment. Buying the right books, listening to the right people, getting the right counsel. That is an investment in your marriage.
You said something, and I actually was going somewhere else, but you said something I think is important to say: listening to the right people.
Oh, yeah.
On the first hand, I think of the fact that because of what we do in ministry, we have, I'd say, the privilege, obligation. We get to minister to a lot of married couples, whether, I love it when they're like pre-marriage and they're all giddy and happy and everything.
Yeah, that's great.
But we also get to minister to people when they're, maybe struggling in certain areas of their marriage and having those conversations. And I think that who you listen to in your marriage is an important investment, because if you allow the wrong person in your ear, it can derail your entire future, right?
Yeah, because some people will advise a woman, if he's not doing right, just give him the silent treatment.
Right? Exactly. Or just leave them. I mean, I've seen that as well. So you have to make sure that you are being very, very, very particular about who you allow to speak into your life. And then I would also say the relationships you enable. So, we've had the privilege of having great friends.
Yeah.
People who number one, love each other.
Yep.
I don't want to hang out with people who hate each other and they're arguing and there's a lot of tension in the room and all of those things. So we've had the privilege of having amazing friends to spend time with. We have some of our best buds that at some point you'll get a chance to meet, but we love having dinner and just hanging out, having game night and, you know, all of those types of things. But you want to be sure that who you're surrounding yourself with are people who are going to really contribute to your joy, your happiness, not cause you to begin to second guess and think about things that may not even be there based on what they're what they're dealing with in their marriage. I also, you know, it's funny, we haven't talked about this in so long, but I think it's important to mention because we're talking about post-marital investment, but something we did before we got married, in the little bit of time that we had before we got married, between we decided to get married and we actually got married, is, you know, we made a decision based on scripture that we were going to remain, what's that word? Celibate, right? And so in order to do that, we would take the Bible, we would spend time studying, and then we would minister to each other so that we would have purity between us when we were in the room together, so that, you know, things that could have happened didn't actually happen while we were committed to celibacy before we got married. And so for those who are like in that place of, I'm getting ready to get married, you know, what are some things that you can do that can really lend to a great foundation for your relationship? So you don't find yourself in a place of, man, I wish we either had have done these things, or God, I wish we wouldn't have done that, you know? And so that's something also I think is valuable to consider. It's like, what are you going to do pre-marriage as well?
In being intentional is critical.
Yeah.
Accidents happen when you don't pay attention.
For sure. For sure.
So if you're wanting to maintain purity, you have to be intentional about how you do that.
Yeah.
So that nothing goes wrong.
Yeah.
So when we were dating and, you know, working it out, I knew it was going to be tough for you because, you know, here it is. It's me, but I'm in my early 20s. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, let me not put too much pressure.
Of course, it was all about on
the situation.
Yeah.
So we had people in our lives that helped.
Yeah.
But we kept the conversation holy. We didn't talk a whole lot about
all of what we were going to do.
Yeah, exactly. Point. We saved that for when it was doable.
Yeah.
But we talked about where we were going in life, what we wanted to do. We made plans.
Yeah.
But we respected each other's commitment to Christ and our commitment to living a certain way, that we took steps intentionally to not push boundaries.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's critical, is that intentionality.
Absolutely. Because if you think you're going to accidentally stay saved, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Some of the books that we've also kind of invested time in together, I think have been really important. And I know recently we've been talking about more of a financial book, but what are some of the things that, you know, as far as books are concerned, that you would say are really pivotal or really important for a couple maybe to consider reading? I know that there are some that we know together, you know, but you might have some others on your mind.
Well, I mean, obviously, the main book for me was, you know, from our bishop, Dr. Michael Brown, How to Fix Your Marriage Without Using a Hammer.
Right.
That we read together because we had to also teach from it and everything.
Right.
But that book really sort of opened my eyes to some of the critical things that we do just out of habit, and how they can be detrimental to our marriage. One of the things that we've learned is, you know, you don't joke about certain things.
Right.
Because you open the door to the thought of that thing happening. So you don't play, you don't joke about getting, if you don't treat me right, I'll just leave. Yeah. You don't joke about stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because it sticks in your head, I'll just leave.
Yeah.
And while you thought you were playing when you said it, it can become a reality.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And so things like that, we learn when we read and when we take the time to really consider what it is that we're doing. I think a lot of people just never really learn how to manage a marriage.
True.
And we know we have to learn to manage our finances. We got to manage our diet. We have to learn to manage our marriage.
Yeah.
And so you want to get input from people who have expertise.
Yeah.
So don't go run into people who have gone through a divorce saying, how do I save my marriage?
Right. Very true.
They can tell you how to get through a divorce, but go to somebody who's been successfully married and say, what did you do?
Yeah.
What did you learn that can help me through my situation?
Absolutely.
You don't go to the fat guy in the gym and say, how do I get like bulky and muscly? Go to the trainer, who's got the evidence that they know what they're talking about.
Right.
Now, you want to know where to go eat? Go back to the fat guy.
Yeah.
And say, listen, I'm looking for something savory and delicious. I promise he has good advice for you.
Yeah.
That's why when people I follow online, when they give restaurant recommendations, I look at them. And if you all skinny, I don't believe you.
Oh, Lord, hush.
That's just me.
I think that, as we're wrapping up, it's important that we make intentional investments. And we've talked a lot about how we invest as a couple, how we spend time together, who we listen to, all of these things. Something that I think we've done over the years, and it's interesting because I think we have kind of a nice rhythm of it. Sometimes it's me for a minute, and then sometimes it's you for a minute, and it kind of it works well for what we need in that time. But it might be, sending a card, or, for me, you've given me flowers, or I might write something that's really important that you might need to hear at that moment. And something that I saw, and it both warmed my heart, and of course it broke my heart. I have a colleague that recently lost her husband, and every single day, because she took her lunch to work every day, every single day he put a note in her lunch box every day. I mean, they've been married for probably about 18, 20 years, and he had done it for years. And, at the end, and she kept them all. So, now that he's gone, he just recently passed, having that to kind of hold on to. Obviously, my prayers that we don't have to look at those because someone is gone, but it's just that, what are you doing that your spouse could really, what would light up their day? What would cause them to have fond memories, when you're not home, hopefully not when you're gone, but when you're just not there, what are some of the things that you can do as an investment into your marriage that's going to maybe cost you something, but it's going to benefit that spouse so much, and they're going to really appreciate?
I think before you can actuate that thought, you have to do the underlying work of learning who you're married to, and what really speaks to them.
That's so good.
And then once you've gotten that, now you can start to figure out, what can I do that'll really show up in their memory as a highlight.
Yeah.
But you have to do that underlying work of getting to know who it is you're married to, so you can give the right gift or say the right thing or whatever it is that matters the most.
That's
and so once you know what that is, then it's just a matter of committing yourself, even if it makes you uncomfortable. You commit yourself to being there. I keep thinking back to your first book launch party.
Yeah.
My wife thinks she's an introvert, but she's not.
I am an introvert.
You're not an introvert. You are an extrovert with introverted tendencies. I am an introvert.
Ambivert, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had to go to the book launch.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big party type person,
Mm-hmm.
but I committed myself that I would be there, I would show up, and I would have a smile on my face the whole time because I wanted you to be supported,
Yeah.
and I didn't want anybody to support you more than I did.
Yeah, for sure. And I can appreciate that. So I'm wanting you to kind of think, what are some of the things that maybe you heard and you're like, doing that, I'm going to do more. And what are some of the things you heard that you're like, you know what, we've got some work to do.
Yeah.
Put those things into practice. Do something, because I guarantee your spouse is probably wanting more of an investment. And maybe it's you. And maybe it's you having that conversation with your spouse and saying, this is what I need. So we will see you back next week on the Making Love podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. As we wrap up today's conversation, remember, marriage isn't just about getting through life together. It's about truly knowing, supporting, and enjoying one another along the way. When you create your relationship on faith, true friendship, and intention, love becomes something that grows stronger every day. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who means the world to you, and keep leaning into the kind of love that lasts. We'll see you next time, Love Podcast with Tish and Pastor Roy.